Hello, hello! Welcome back to VBS Event Summaries. We are right back to our focus event grind and moving right along through our Akito Fest with today's event, Rekindle the Flame. This is Akito's 5th focus event, running on the JP server from October 21st through the 29th, 2024. Obligatory mention that this event is the one that directly followed Mizu 5. Do you guys hear that? No, it's not the sound of ominous bells. It sounds like peak. Sounds like Fuel, which is the commission song for this event. I am happy to announce that we have finally arrived at Destiny's favorite VBS commission. Never thought Akito would hold the title of my favorite VBS comm, but here we are. In all honesty, the big three of the VBS 5th rotation songs, that being Rekka, Ultra C, and Fuel, are constantly fighting over who takes the top spot on my VBS song tier list. It's Fuel at number 1 right now, though. It's always Fuel. But Fuel is for going on, so let's get going on this event summary, shall we? Ken, we need to have a talk. Why in Miku's name would you leave the cafe to Kotaro? Of all of the competent, qualified people living on Vivid Street, you picked Kotaro? I cannot envision a universe where this goes well, but apparently it's not going up in flames quite yet. That's because there are actual adults in charge of the management and finances and stuff. Kotaro is like the face of the operation and manager in name only. Okay, Ken, I'll allow that. VBS have basically become micro-celebrities in the wake of Rad Blast, and the packed weekend garage only goes to solidify that. Kohane and Toya can't go anywhere without being swarmed by fans and aspiring musicians. Oh, allow me to mention that VBS has started posting their music online. I don't know if that will become relevant later, but Toya and Kotaro talk about it for a good chunk of time here, so it might be something worth mentioning. Oh wow, they're consistently breaking 1 million views on each new song, so yeah, definitely worth mentioning. But, where are An and Akito right now? If they're not with their partners at Weekend Garage, they must be working hard towards their goal of standing on the top of the world, right? Well, yes, if that work includes English class, because that's where An and Akito are trapped right now. This part is absolutely hilarious to watch as a native English speaker. Highly recommend if you want a good giggle. An and Akito are the resident, poor students of the group, but English is a skill they're going to need if they want to go beyond just the Japanese music scene, right? An even mentions that the pronunciation is much easier in songs for her, so it's confirmed that they're already singing some English songs, or English inserts in their songs in canon. Oh, right, remember the song they sang at Rad Blast? That had a good amount of English in it. Still, she does make an excellent point. Forming sentences is much harder than just memorizing sounds in a song. Okay, so while An and Akito work on their English skills, their whole group's goal is to be noticed by a big label that's based overseas, like Radar was. Some people can get their start online, which is why VBS has been posting, but it'll take a considerable amount of luck to be noticed in that way. Though they have been putting in a lot of extra effort to make their music more accessible to online viewers, like translating the lyrics and descriptions into English. I kinda wish that were real and we didn't have to wait a full year for the official song translations. VBS has been trying a lot of different methods of practicing, but their favorite lately has been 2-on-2 battles with rotating teams. Without Ken to help, they need to think of different ways to improve and keep working towards their goal. VBS also got invited to perform as special guests in an event taking place the following day. Not only that, the event is being held at one of the high-level venues where they trained before Rad Blast. If you couldn't already tell, VBS has really moved up in the world. They haven't been in an event in a while, even before Rad Blast, so everyone is itching to be up in front of an audience again. But something seems to be on Akito's mind. After a successful performance, VBS talks with some of the other musicians backstage. They mention 2 mysterious twin brothers that completely stole the stage the other night. And hey, get this, they looked like foreigners. This completely captures Akito's attention. More information reveals that these twin brothers have been performing at all of the venues on VBS's old training list. Maybe they were among the slew of musicians that were inspired by Rad Blast, part of the fire that is currently burning through the street music scene. Fire, huh? After An and Kohane leave for the night, Toya stops Akito before they go home as well. He asks, "Akito, do you think you'll be back on your feet soon?" Nothing slips past either of these boys when one of them is feeling off. Of course Toya noticed. Akito hasn't been able to sing with as much ferocity as he did at Rad Blast, like he's missing that spark that pushed him to greater heights. He's got to fix this, and fast. Toya gives him a worried look, but Akito promises not to do anything drastic. Oh, finally! Akito room reveal! Can't believe it took until Aki 5 to get here, but this is what his room looks like. Now, Akito has this huge monologue of self-reflection, and it all boils down to this. He's burnt out. Not for good, I don't think, but he's missing that spark that fueled his resolve for so long, now that his #1 goal in life has been achieved. He never really thought about life after surpassing Rad Weekend. He's pretty lost without that solid goalpost. Akito decides to go to the sekai to put his emotions into something more concrete. This is just your typical sekai interlude, but I do want to mention 2 important things that Kaito says. 1, the walls around the sekai expansion are gone. You know, the ones from the first world link? Speaking of the first world link, the little sapling in the courtyard has been growing a lot recently. I wonder what that means. Akito participates in the daily trauma dump to Kaito and Meiko, who tell him what burnout is. Also, standing on top of the world is a much more nebulous goal compared to surpassing Rad Weekend. Rad Weekend was a clear benchmark with clear parameters to overcome. Their current goal isn't as cut and dry as their original one was. Akito needs something to rekindle the flame inside of him. The next day on Akito's morning run, he catches the sound of someone singing at their usual park, though it doesn't sound like Toya or either of the girls. When he makes a detour and stops to watch, these 2 blonde-haired musicians stun Akito into silence. They're good, really good, and they're speaking English to each other between songs. Could these be the twin brothers that everyone has been talking about lately? Why, yes they are. They spot Akito watching from afar and quickly switch into Japanese, fawning over Akito like he's more than just a high schooler turned micro-celebrity. The boys' names are Cedric and Slade, you know, your typical American names. They came to Japan specifically to see Rad Blast, so that's kind of mind-blowing for Akito. Also, Slade confirms that the twins really were retracing VBS's steps by performing at the same venues that they did. Suddenly, after accidentally reverting to English a few times, Slade asks Akito to battle against him. Of course, Akito agrees. Akito and Slade are already at it by the time Toya, and then a little bit later on in Kohane, arrive at the park for practice. They haven't stopped since Toya showed up, so he hasn't had the chance to ask what's going on, and who these 2 weird foreigners are. Akito isn't doing so well, and worry radiates from his partner. He can't get up to his level from before, and the frustration is clear in Akito's singing. Slade tells him to stop. This isn't how he sounded at Rad Blast. Maybe he didn't warm up enough, or it's too early in the morning, or maybe he's not feeling well? Akito says nothing. Slade asked him to go all out and not hold anything back, so why? Is this what he really sounds like? Why won't he say anything? Is his resolve really this weak? Slade absolutely rips into Akito, slinging insults and saying that he'll never stand on top of the world if he keeps singing like that. Wait a second, how does he know about that goal? Before Akito can ask, Slade starts singing again, and the feeling Akito experiences is akin to how he felt seeing Rad Weekend, somehow. It seems like that little push is what Akito needed to tap into his talent from before. Seeing Akito step back into himself is all the entertainment Slade needed. Cedric apologizes to Akito and to the rest of his team for interrupting their practice, and for how his brother acted. However, they really do have to go, or else they'll miss their flight back to the US. That's not without promises of meeting again one day, since they're aiming for the same place. The twins are going to be the one to see what lies beyond Nagi's dream. Seriously, how do they know about that? VBS talks about all of the questions surrounding these mysterious twins, like how they know about Nagi, their training history, and so on, when Kohane suddenly gets a message from Taiga. He says that he has a few extra tickets for an event coming up, and is wondering if they want to come watch. But Taiga's in America right now. Does that mean he's asking if VBS wants to go to America? Well, they'd have to ask their parents and get time off from school, and they probably shouldn't go alone, and Akito interrupts Kohane's fretting by firmly deciding that he's going. I mean, this is the United States of America, the place that VBS glazes constantly. To know what the world has to offer, to know what they have to surpass, they have to see it, right? And thus begins what we in the business like to call the VBS America arc. We've successfully rekindled the flame. Maybe. I was honestly hoping that Akito would struggle a bit more with his burnout and feelings of being lost, but it seems like he moved on really quickly. Make the ginger suffer more. I know he hasn't gone to therapy. There's a lot of things I want to talk about in this outro, so let me list them off rapid-fire style. First thing, VBS speaking English will never not be funny. I swear I hear the
What the purpose of your visit? I came here for sightseeing. I'm going to a concert.
Clip in my dreams. And the, okay, what did you do on your day off? Fun fact, I'm actually learning Japanese myself, and was in this exact situation just a few weeks ago, just reverse the languages. Of course, my pattern recognition was going ballistic trying to answer seriously. And finally, let me glaze fuel one more time just for good measure. Okay, I think I got it out of my system. I will be listening to it on loop for the next forever, though. As VBS prepares to head overseas, we have to be stuck with the ginger yet again for the annual New Year's mixed event, Unfading Wishing. I'll see you then.